everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm just coming from this gym. I'm sweaty, I'm hot, but I wanted to give this message to you guys really quick. This great word. I hope that you're encouraged by it. This is going to be a raw vent of mine. First of all, let me just say welcome to the new subscribers. I welcome you to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope that you guys are encouraged by the word that the Lord placed in my heart to share with you all. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the comments and my personal emails that I continuously get. I thank you guys. You guys keep me encouraged. As you keep me encouraged, I hope that I do the same for you all. Yesterday, God gave me a revelation about how he kept me, you guys. Sometimes we don't feel like God is around, or we feel like the things in which we go through, like why and how, and we're feeling sorry for ourselves, but we just don't realize that God has had a hand in it the whole time. And that's what he revealed to me. That when I went, and this is just a brief week recap for those that don't know, I thought I was in the process of reconciliation with my husband. It's 5 months now, 6 months now. I went to where he lived, and I thought that we were about to be as one, as, we both, were in agreement about. But things happened, and my husband, to me now, he turned around. I was taking it personal at first, thinking that he personally did it to me, which God has showed me that no, it had nothing to do with me. Even though I was a partaker in things, because I explosively went off on my husband because of the things that I was carrying. I was carrying certain things that was going down around me, certain things throughout this time that, previously when I was standing, that I accepted, and it didn't make me feel good by accepting it. But because I loved him so much, I went along with certain things that I knew that wasn't right. And so what happened was, when I was there with him, now you guys, God delivered me 3 years ago. So I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't curse, I don't do any of those things. I don't do anything that is, of the world. I really don't. I have been mindful and careful of the things in which I do. I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes, but I'm not deliberate to make mistakes that he delivered me from. So when I was there, I had some wine. I hadn't had wine in forever, basically, in years. And so there was a lot of different things that took place. Like I was previously saying, there was a lot of things that was taking place that I was basically holding in the inside. I did not let it out because I was so happy, that I was back in my husband's life. It has been years that me and my husband were separated. So I was just really happy that I had the opportunity to get back into his life, and just, now he could see his wife. He could see the wife that he married, the wife that he should have had a long time ago, the wife that he's even said that he loved having now. This is the wife that he loved having now. Well, there were things that took place, and I drank wine while I was there, knowing that I didn't drink. But what was happening is that because of a lot of things that was going on that was hurting my feelings, I went back into the old way of dealing with things, like to numb it down. You know what I mean? Drinking the wine to numb it down, to try to play it off like it wasn't bothering me, when really it was bothering me. It was a lot of different things that went on previously before I came, and then, things that happened while I was there. So what happened is things came out explosively. I went off on my husband because I felt, as you guys know, as I previously said in a video, I felt like my husband should have protected me. I felt like, he shouldn't have allowed us, certain things to go on. But now I know, as the Lord told me, regardless of the fact of what I thought he should have done, I had a responsibility to walk in love and humility. But how was I going to walk in love and humility when I didn't even know that I was dealing with the spirit of rejection? So when you're dealing with the spirit of rejection and its attachments, you know, the low self-esteem, you're dealing with wanting to be approved, you're dealing with wanting to be accepted, you're going to tolerate more than you should. And that was me. So then when my husband didn't do what I thought he should have did, I resorted back to the old way of handling things, and I drunk, and then I went off on him, which was totally, totally not right, because in the 2 years that I have been talking to my husband, I never behaved like that. I just was quiet. And sometimes when we quiet, that's not good. You know, we need to be able to express ourselves and express ourselves in a healthy way, because if you don't, it can come out the way that it did with me. You know, I said a lot of things that I didn't mean. You know, I was just hurt. You know, the little girl in me that was carrying the rejection and the acceptance and the approval and the low self-esteem, she was still in there. She was still, you know, she was still wanting, you know, the covering of the person in whom she loved, you know, the man in her life in whom she loved. I did not know any of this until I came back and went on a fasting, and the Lord revealed to me that it was a spirit of rejection that I was dealing with and its attachment. So he told me during that time that he kept me, you know, he protected me, because even in that instance of what was going on with my husband, I could have easily went back into, the enemy wanted me to go back into my old ways. He wanted what happened for me to resort back to completely how I used to handle things and do things. But the Lord did not allow it to be so. So the Lord removed me from that situation. We got to think sometimes that even though we don't understand why people do the things that they do, when you are really walking with God and God really see your heart, you know, and it was revealed to me too that, you know, for years I've had a broken heart. I've had a broken heart and a broken spirit. And this is why I would respond and do the things that I would do. You know, this is why I would act the way that I would act. This is why I cleave to the people, you know, that I cleave to at once upon a time. This is why, you know, throughout the years, I wanted so desperately to get back with my husband, but God would not open up that door because I was dealing with the desperateness in my flesh. This time he opened up the door because he knew that I was going to be able to handle what happened, even though I did go off, and that is not excusable, but it didn't cause me to spiral out of control and go back into the world and do the things that I was doing, you know, against the kingdom of God. And I am so grateful, you guys, because sometimes, again, we don't know what God is doing, but he's doing a mighty great work. He also pointed out to me, it was my own doing, if I'm going to be honest. You know, I didn't have no peace. Like when I first saw my husband for the very first time last year, in 2019, there was a peace that I had when I seen him. This past year, when I called myself resigning from my job and getting ready to go with him, I didn't have that same peace. And you want to know why? Because I was going in my own way. I was doing it my way. I wasn't doing it God's way. I was just so, again, I was so happy that I was able to be back in my husband's life that I started taking things in my own hands, and God let me. He allowed me to. But looking back, I can see how I didn't have peace about the situation, because he knew my husband really wasn't ready for the very things that my husband was saying that he was ready for. And he knew that I still had to get things up out of me. Right? And so he allowed all that to happen. And when it happened, I thought, you know, as my first video, I was angry and numb and just hurt. But looking back, it just all makes sense. I see how God had his hand in it the whole time. He allowed me to go, all that different type of stuff that happened, and it was the deception of the enemy. You know, I didn't test the spirits. I really honestly didn't, because I wanted what I wanted. Okay, so God will allow you to go ahead and do what you gonna do, but then at the same token, There's consequences behind the things in which you do. And I'm just grateful even for the consequences, because it made me come back, and it made me seek after God, and it made me go back into my fasting and praying, and just allowing God really full access to my heart so he can take everything that is unlike him out, because there has been things that has been planted in me ever since I was a little girl, and those things are being uprooted. Now, when I went with my husband, I was delivered, but I was still going through a healing process. It's a healing process to me, with me, to the very end. Sometimes, healing just don't stop. It's a lot of different things that was planted in us a long time ago. Seeds when we were children, and God is going to gradually work on those things one at a time. He's not going to overwhelm us. So it's a healing process that's ongoing, and I didn't know that I was still in the process of healing when I went to be with my husband. So this is why the things went down the way that they did. But I'm grateful that they did, because I have been able to see, the mighty hand of God. I didn't understand it at first, you guys. I was really, hurt, and, I was in blame. God took all that away from me. I love my husband more now than I did, when I first went, because I really understand love is not about conditions. It's unconditional. It is better to forgive than to be in blame. And how can I blame my husband for something in which he is battling with when it comes to God? He's battling God. He's in a battle with God, not me. And that's something we can take personal. We can think that their battle with God has everything to do with us, when really it honestly don't. It has nothing to do with us, and we need to let our flesh know, get out the way, get out your feelings, because it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them and what God is trying to do in them. As he did it in us, he's got to do it in them, and it ain't going to be the way that we want it to be sometimes. Just like I didn't know when I went to be with my husband that it was going to turn out the way that it did, but it turned out for the good, because God has kept me all this time. So I just wanted to leave this word and say that God got you, you guys. I know I probably was all over the place, but just know that he truly has you, and he knows what he is doing. And even when we cannot understand, even when we, want to be in the mix of people, we have to realize that God, not allowing it to be so, is his protection. He's protecting what he began. If I would have stayed, in that situation, and I look at it, if I would have stayed in the situation with my husband at that time, I would have been following my husband, right? So as me following my husband, being submissive to my husband, trying to be a great wife to my husband would have been submissive unto the world like he had been. So therefore we would have been misled. We would have been misled to do a lot of different things. And this is what God knew. This is what God was able to see. And this is why God stopped it before it became, more worse, before, it ruined what he was doing in me. It was also to get my husband's attention about himself. Now, I don't know if it has yet. That's not my business. It's my business to continue to keep, standing for him, that he will come into the revelation of the knowledge of God, and that every thought that he has will come into captivity to the obedience of Christ. And I'm really believing that for his life. I'm really believing that his eternal salvation is going to be saved, and that it is not anything personal, that it has to do with, people on earth. It has everything to do with him personally having a great relationship with the Lord, so that he can be led right, because the Lord was opening up doors for my husband. The Lord was letting my husband have his wife back, was giving him access to, relationships that's been strained with certain family members in his life. He was just doing a great thing. But sometimes when you're used to the wrong thing seems right. And this is why you gotta, the Lord will move you out the way so that he can show them what really is right. Like he did for me, like he did for you. I used to think that the wrong thing was right, and the wrong thing is wrong. So I just wanted to let you guys know again that God knows what he's doing. Just trust him with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, and just let him work. Let him do what he has to do. We're going to have our moments. We're going to have our times, but just know that God is just awesome in everything that he's doing. And when he just revealed that to me, I just was like, wow, I didn't even think about it like that he was, he was keeping me. I knew that he had his hand in it, but how he showed me yesterday or revealed to me, like it could have went left, it could have really went another way. That's what the enemy wanted, for me to do. He wanted it to be, well, I'm devastated about the expectations that I had with my husband, thinking that we were reconciling at that time, and he wanted me to get so down and out where I would turn back around to the world, and I haven't. I just can't, no matter what. That's not my life anymore. God delivered me and he set me free, and I am so grateful for that. So I know this is kind of long. I didn't expect for it to be this long, but I just really wanted to share this with you guys. I hope that, again, I wasn't all over the place. Forgive me of looking a hot mess, but I just came out of this gym. Matter of fact, I'm still sitting in the gym's parking lot, but I just wanted to give you guys this word. I hope you guys are encouraged. Know that you are not alone. You do have a community of people that is standing with you. I'm standing with you. I'm praying for you. I'm believing for you. And God's word is going to prevail, you guys, no matter what it looks like, no matter how you feel. God has the final say so in everything. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.